What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon, and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about the sequel to We Hunt the Flame, We Free the Stars by Hafsah Faizal. So I was in love with We Hunt the Flame. I was incredibly late to that party. I am not late to this party, but my god, We Free the Stars was such an amazing follow-up. As I was reading the book, I started to wonder if it was going to turn into a trilogy, but I felt like the pacing was just so well done. Like, everything that happened was like exactly what needed to happen. It happened exactly in the amount of time that it needed to happen, and then everything just wrapped up so beautifully by the end of it. I really feel like this series was just like a masterclass in fantasy, and I absolutely adored it. So coming off of We Hunt the Flame, like a lot of big things have changed. Like, you know, we've kind of awoken and set free the Lion of the Night. We've found the hearts, we're trying to restore them, and we're going back to the palace to kind of regroup, figure some things out. And where in the first book I felt like there were, like, the cast was getting too big, there were too many characters, now reading this book, I see why those characters were being added in. I see why we were like doing those things, because a lot of those repercussions were finally like dealt with within this book, and everything felt a lot more balanced. I felt like we still had our main cast of three, and in fact we got to see Altair's perspective as well, which was really interesting. But now that we kind of already knew these other characters, seeing them added in, seeing what new perspectives they like brought into it, because the politics are getting a little bit bigger in this book, it all just felt a lot more balanced and it made a lot of sense. Now, like I said, we do get to see Altair's perspective. My one critique with that is just because it is the audiobook, and in the first book there are two narrators with this. We have a male narrator and a female narrator, and so now the male narrator reads two sections, but the problem is that he doesn't ever change his voice, so a lot of times I got really confused whether we were with Nasir, whether we were with Altair, and it was just, it took me a hot minute to kind of get settled back into it, because at the end of the first book we found out a lot of things about Altair, right? We found out, you know, about his identity, we found out who his parents are, and like all of this. So when you're with his side of the story, it reminds you a lot of Nasir's from the first book. So I would get confused because I'm like, wait, like, aren't we doing this thing? Aren't we at this place? But then I would like finally hear the name and I'd be like reminded of it. So that's my one critique, just if you listen to the book, that you might want to pay like really close attention when those perspectives flip. But I'm sure that doesn't really present itself when you're reading the text. Overall, I think my favorite aspect of this book is definitely everything with Saphira. I think she is an amazing main character. And in this book, we get to see her reunited with her sister. We also get to see her reunited with her best friend, Yasmin. And that is an interaction that has been hanging over her for so long, ever since Dean dies at the very beginning of the first book. She's been so worried about what's going to happen when she's with Yasmin again. And I just really think their relationship, the way they talk to each other, the way they work things out, felt so realistic. It felt so needed. Like, of course, you know, there was going to be a little bit of, you know, like bad blood or a little bit, you know, of angst there, but they are such good friends. And it was really interesting to see like how they were going to move forward after everything that's been done to them. And that carries on throughout the entire book. Like, Saphira is definitely wondering what's going to happen to her, like when everything is said and done, because she is still connected to, you know, like this ancient magical book that's kind of getting in her head and making her think weird things. So it's definitely a book where she is discovering what she wants, Nasir is discovering how to speak, how to voice what he wants, and then Altair is trying to, you know, right his wrongs and like get back to, you know, that guy that we knew him as in the first book. And I feel like by the end of it, everybody's arc is just wrapped up really beautifully. I got a little bit worried about like halfway through the book what was going to happen, just because I've been reading a lot of books that have been doing that bad trend of, you know, like, oh, it must be realistic, people must die, like whatever. So I was a little bit worried that that was going to happen here. And I won't tell you exactly anything that happens, because obviously no spoilers, but I was very happy and satisfied with the end. I felt like everything made sense. I felt like everything made sense for the characters, and overall, like, this as a duology to me is just so perfect, so well done. Really, really, really recommend it. So obviously I really loved this series. If you haven't gotten to We Free the Stars yet, you really should, because it's absolutely amazing. If you haven't read this series yet, you really, really should, because Hafsah Faizal is doing something just spectacular here, and I'm really excited to see what's gonna come from her next. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to Talk Books with me every week. That is everything I got for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.